So, we're done. Well, here we are, part 3 of my 21 days of 21K series. So it's the final week. As we've done on the last 2 videos, we'll go through each of the days, talk about what I went through. But if you hold out till the end, I'll do a summary of the actual numbers of what we accomplished over this 21 days. So let's have a look at how week 3 started. Well, here we are, about a K and a half into day 15. So, we're doing something different today. I've run a different track every day for 14 days straight. And I want to keep that going. Keep watching, because I'm doing something different and new that in 40 years I've never done. So normally here I would turn or turn. Today we're going straight. All right, just running past Eastbrook on Bald Hills Road. That's the Samuel and Sons family farm. Great farming family, multi-generation. So I've known the Samuel and Sons family for over 20 years, and they're just a really great family, great people. So this is where this run changes. See in the distance there, that's the Bald Hills Road tunnel. I've spent 40 years growing up between Littlehampton and Mount Barker. I have never run through this tunnel in all my life. So this is a big deal. I can't believe I'm doing this. I've always wanted to. Let's go. Did something special today, so I'm really happy with what I've done. I've still got some more creative runs ahead of me over the next week, but I hope you're enjoying this series, and that's day 1 of the 3rd week, all done. So it may not seem like anything that special, but that was a pretty important run to me because I grew up just around the corner, and in all the kilometers of running I've done, I'd never done that tunnel. So it seemed like something really cool to do, was to run somewhere I'd never been. On the way back, because I ran through Littlehampton, I can't run past the Glebe without stopping for at least 1 lap. That place holds a very special place in my heart now after running over 100 kilometers worth of laps there between the last couple of New Year's mornings. Welcome to day 16. I got a message asking if I could talk about how I'm feeling and how I'm going and where my struggles are. So that seems like a good use of today's run. So let's start with the mental side of things. It's hard for a lot of people. It was hard for me, but I've spent years pushing myself to get up and go. I've run every day for over 780 days, which has meant that mentally, I have the strength to be able to do this now. You know, it's just taken years to build that. Go and check out my running wisdom today, because I'll talk more in depth about that. But from a physical standpoint, look, I'm sore. I have been sore for 2 weeks now, but I'm pushing through by adjusting what I do and how I do it. Always roadblocks on the way, but you've just got to do everything in your power to push past them. So I'm definitely dealing with some niggles. I started this whole thing with an injured ankle, but what I'm finding is consistency is key. My body is adjusting as I keep pushing. I'm not pushing too hard, but I just push past that little point of pain and just test if it's an injury or not. I'm dealing with the muscle soreness. I'm doing all the right recovery stuff. The mental is the true battle. I'll talk to you more a bit later, but now I've got to smash out some Ks. Well, that's day 16 done. Quick video, a little bit of insight. There'll be heaps more to come on the big video, but for now, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow for day 17. So, day 16. So I got a message on one of my videos just asking how I was going and how I was feeling, and I thought it was probably good timing to throw that into a video and just talk about how I was going. Obviously you don't fit so much into a minute and a half, so I wanted to keep it brief, and I'll give you a bit more detail in the summary at the end of this video. But look, yes, I was in pain. Yes, things hurt, but I wasn't injured. I was just hurting, because that's what happens when you push your body this hard. Mentally, it's always tough to push yourself this hard, but I like to think that I step up to the plate when I set myself a goal. There's something about that drive that it creates when you've got a challenge. I wanted to get up. I wanted to keep going every day. I wanted to see how hard I could push. I hadn't found the end of myself, so I just wanted to keep going until I did. So with a little preview of what's coming up, as the week went by, I didn't feel like there was enough of a challenge. Hey, so day 17. We're going to keep this idea of a new track every day going. I'm going to do something a little more creative today, something I've wanted to do for a long time. So I spent most of my childhood walking along this railway line between Littlehampton and Mount Barker. So I thought today, let's go for a run. The Hyson Boulevard road crossing. First of a few gap crossings. Well, looks like I'm going around. Bit of a creepy crossing. Slightly creepy shed. Here we are, the Mount Barker train station. Train turnaround point. Alright, here we go. The tunnel underneath the freeway. I went through this tunnel 1,000 times as a child. So my parents live along this section of the railway line, and my best mate grew up just up here. I spent countless hours hanging out inside this old stop. So we lose the railway line for a few metres. This bridge always creeped me out as a kid because it's actually quite far down. Here we are at the finish line of our railway line experience. That's day 17 done. One easy. Running along the railway line is actually really hard work and a bit slower than planned, but I had fun, brought back some amazing memories, and another interesting morning run. I'll see you tomorrow. So day 17, I wanted to do something a little different. And I've actually had a couple of comments from people saying they really enjoyed this video because it was just a bit different. It was rather than just me running down a road as I normally do. And I got to show a little more insight into Backpack Guy and his history. So with only a minute and a half on the reel, I couldn't go into heavy detail, but that section where I talked about where my friend grew up and I grew up, we were about half a kilometre away from each other along the railway line. So virtually daily, I would run up and down that railway line to go and see him, or he'd come down and see me. We built cubbies and tree houses along the way. It was just a great place to grow up. And that tunnel between Littlehampton and Mount Barker, we had some fun and scary moments through there. On the trip home, I still followed along the railway line, but I stayed on the roads and paths along the outside rather than running on the actual line itself. So yeah, it was a trip down memory lane and a bit of fun while doing it. It wasn't the fastest run I've done, but it was interesting. So I really enjoyed it. Hello. So we're back, day 18. Yesterday was interesting because it was a great run. I really enjoyed running on the train line, but I just hadn't slept enough for the tired and trash yesterday. But we're back today. I got a much better sleep last night. I'm feeling pretty energetic. So guess what? We're going trail running. All right, we're here. Well, we're on the trails now. So it's about 6 k's to get here. So we'll do a few laps of these trails and then we'll make our way back home. For those who are interested, I'm at the Totnes Recreation Park between Littlehampton and Mount Barker. Quite a steep downhill, this one. Here we are, the big hill. I remember taking Beck and the kids here one day and I was peak trail running at the time. And to me, it's just another hill. But it's a killer, it is so steep. I've never lived it down that I took Beck on here and I told her it wasn't that hard. There's our entrance way. We're going to do another loop. All right, lap 3, let's go. That's 3 laps done. Let's make our way home. Well, that's day 18 done. Got to go for a fun trail run and I'll see you tomorrow. So day 17, I got to do one of my favourite things in the world, which is trail running. So during most of this challenge, I've just been running primarily roads. It's a lot easier to kind of get the distance in over a shorter time. If I just want to run from my house, it's a lot easier to run along a bunch of roads. but I really wanted to do at least one good trail run during that period. So up to the Totnes Park, and I thought I'll do a few laps of that, which will get me some good trails in, and a good amount of elevation, because what's a trail run if there's no good elevation? So almost 700 meters of elevation on that run, which when you think, that's about as much as I did running up the old freeway. So yes, I apologize, Beck. That hill is a lot steeper than I took into account. So with a trail run under my belt, we have 3 days to go now. I've kept the theme going of running a different track every day, and I had a couple last ones that I wanted to finish with. So let's finish strong, because that's what we do. Day 19, we're doing this. We've got a couple of days left, so today I thought let's not push too hard. Let's get on a road, and I'm just going to cruise. I think we'll do a bit of an out and back. We'll just see how far that takes us. Let's talk about where I'm at. So, obviously lots of kilometres in, where by the end of this run we'll be about 450 k's in. My feet are okay, my legs are okay. They're a bit tired, but they're still moving. I'm okay with that. The problem is my wrists. So I'm doing a running challenge, and somehow my wrists become the problem. So this one here, I don't know if it's from lifting my kids up or if it's from holding lights while I'm running or something, but I've kind of hurt the tendon. So I'm just keeping that strapped up at the moment. But it's meant that I've had to swap wrists. And so now I'm wearing my watch on my left. And that's quite uncomfortable because my wrist's not used to it. So it's rubbing in spots that I don't normally get rubbing. So of all things to be struggling with on this run, it's my wrists. Well, I've run to Macclesfield, a run I've always wanted to do. Here we are, where Beck and I got married 19 years ago. Longview Vineyard in Macclesfield. So Beck and I celebrated our 19th wedding anniversary this month, and so I thought what a nice way to finish off one of the last days of this challenge, but to run to Longview Vineyard where we got married in Macclesfield. So 28 kilometres before breakfast on day 19. We're doing this, and Beck, I love you. So I went out on day 19 without a real plan, but I knew the direction that I wanted to run. So off we went. Now, I'd never run to Macclesfield before, but I thought we'll head that direction and we'll see how far it is. So I did a rough estimation on the distance and worked out that it should be the right kind of distance to run to Mackie and back. But when I got there, I thought, well, I've run this far. Let's go and see where we got married. Let's run to Longview. And it meant that the majority of that run was spent just thinking about my wife and thinking about my life, and it was really nice. It was actually really pleasant, even though I had the wrist issues. Now, we're a few days past the end of the challenge, and I looked after my wrists and I did all the right work, and I'm fine now. We're not worried. I'm wearing the watch on the right wrist again, and I'm running with it, and everything's good. Just weird that in the middle of a running challenge, my wrists were the problem. So it was cool running to Mackie and back because I just never done it before. So there's another track for a morning run that I know I can do in the future. Day 20. Yesterday, I did just over 35 kilometers. When I left to run home from work last night, my watch popped up and gave me a +2 performance score. So I was performing better at the end of the day than I was at the beginning of the day. Let's go. We're onto Junction Road. No, we've time warped. We're now 14 kilometers in. I'm about to turn around. This run was a bit inspired by my trip down memory lane that I've been doing over the last few days. So yesterday you saw where I got married 19 years ago. This is where I used to work 19 years ago. It used to be called Paik Motors. That genuinely was going past me for like 3 minutes. That's how big that train was. So I used to drive along this road on my way to work, and there was an old guy. He would have been in his 70s or so, an old farmer. You could see he was, body was a bit worn out and that, but he would be walking along this road every single day. And it just blew me away. Probably a 2 or 3 kilometer walk at least. Just showed me many years ago how far you can go no matter what condition you're in. Day 20 complete. So that's 28 Ks done this morning, and I did it quick, so I feel amazing. I can't believe I'm performing this well after 20 days of doing this. One more day to go. I've got something special for tomorrow, but until then, have an awesome day. So day 20, the second to last day. I did an out and back on day 19, running out to Macclesfield to check out Longview Vineyard and come back. So I thought I'll go the opposite direction. We'll do an out and back to Oakbank. So we ran out to my old workplace where I worked many, many years ago for quite a few years. And I got to run along Junction Road, which I've driven that road a million times, but I'd never actually been able to run the whole thing before. So that was really cool. And I got to tell some fun stories along the way. I didn't get a lot of time to show you the train, but that train went on and on. So I used to get stuck at the railway crossing when that train would come in the morning, and it would make me late for work quite often. So it was cool that it happened to be going right when I was running past that morning. It was really interesting just running along that road and thinking about all the times I've driven it and thinking about how much life has changed in that 19 years since I used to work there, and thinking about how different I am now compared to what I was back then. As I'm slowly closing off this challenge, I wanted to make sure I was pushing myself harder and harder as the days went by. So that was 28 Ks on day 19 and then another 28 Ks on day 20, not including my runs to work. So it wouldn't be a backpack guy challenge if I didn't finish with something crazy at the end. So here we are, day 21. I wanted to do something that would really test me, something that had some significance to my running journey, and something that would mean something to me in the long run. So off we go. Let's go and watch the last day of this challenge. Here we are, day 21. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Let's finish strong. I wanted to do something special for the final day, so we've gone to somewhere that's really made a giant change in my life over the year. We are at the top of the Mount Lofty summit right now. We're in one of the most important places to me because I lost most of my weight running up and down this mountain every Sunday with my father-in-law. So we're going to go and hit it hard. To get my 21 Ks, I'm probably going to have to do about 3 runs at it. So let's do this. All right, there's the first run down and up. Let's go back for a second. It's great to see a whole bunch of people up here early in the morning. There we go, that's lap 2 done. 1 more to go. Here we are, 3rd time down. I am loving running this again. I haven't done this in ages. It's so much fun. All right, that's 3rd time down. Let's go back up 1 more time. That's it, 3 runs down and up Mount Lofty, about 24, 25 kilometers roughly. That's it, 21 days, 20 Ks is done. More to come on the YouTube channel, so go and check it out at Campbell Backpack Guy. There we are, day 21. I wanted to make sure I really pushed myself on that one. So if you've ever done Mount Lofty down to Waterfall Gully and back, you know how tough that is. Now triple it. That was my last day of the challenge. So I really wanted to push myself, and I knew that doing 3 runs at Lofty would be a challenge. So at the end of it all, I finished on over 1.4 kilometers of elevation. So when you think that my biggest runs during this period were 700 meters, I doubled that in 1 run. And that was only over the course of 24 kilometers. The best part about doing Mount Lofty for my final challenge was there's a lot of people out there on Sundays. So what happened was a few people saw me running it. Then they saw me running it again. Then they saw me running it again. And I got stopped by quite a few people on my final lap just to check, how many times have you done this today? Or to ask what I was doing, why I was out there pushing so hard. You know, and it's just so nice to be able to have a chat with people and talk about where I've been, where I've come from, where I'm at now, you know, why I do this. So when I started this running journey, Mount Lofty was pretty important to me. I used to go there every Sunday with my father-in-law, and we would hike it, and I would walk it as a fairly large boy. And slowly over time, I dropped the kilos, and I got faster and faster to the point where I was getting quite quick at doing Mount Lofty. Now, when I started getting to the long distance running, so the 50 Ks and the 100 Ks, I kind of put Mount Lofty aside and I wasn't doing it as often. So it was nice to get out there and remember what that mountain meant to me and feel what it was like to really work hard at it again like that. So I wouldn't say Mount Lofty is necessarily where this journey began, but I would say it was pretty important to the beginning of this journey. So for me to finish this 21-day challenge with Mount Lofty, I thought that was pretty fitting. All right, so time for a bit of a summary. So 21 days, 21 Ks. I ended up doing more than 21 Ks a day. So I averaged 26 kilometers a day for that 21 days. I finished on a total of 549 kilometers for the 3-week period. So I'm happy with that number. That's what I was averaging a month last year. So I smashed that goal out of the water. One of my favorite achievements for this challenge was that I was able to grow each week. So for the third week, I ended up growing another 10 Ks. So it was 177 for week 1, 180 for week 2, and 190 for week 3. And elevation wise, it wasn't initially the goal to hit a giant elevation number, but after I did a few runs and saw how much elevation I was doing, I thought, well, let's make that a secondary goal for this. So I thought, what's a crazy number? Let's throw out there. What if we aimed for 10 Ks worth of elevation over the 3 weeks? And you know what? I did it. 10.8 kilometers worth of elevation. So 10,800 meters of elevation over the 3 weeks. And a chunk of that was on the final day, 1.4 kilometers of elevation on day 21. So I think I pushed it hard. I think I set some new benchmarks, and I think I'm going into this new running season pretty strong. When it came to the runs themselves, I didn't go too hard for too many of them. I wanted to make sure I had some balance there. So there was some easier ones, there was some trail runs, there was some faster ones. But at the end of the day, it was about hitting the kilometers. It was about feeling out my body and understanding where I was at, making sure I didn't injure myself. And it was about just completing a challenge. It was about hitting a goal to start my year strong. So a couple of the biggest keys I can throw out there: hydration. I made sure I was heavily hydrating. I actually ate more than I normally would eat because I knew I was burning so many calories. I don't normally take a lunch break at work, but over the last 3 weeks, I've been taking lunch breaks because I knew I needed the extra calories, I needed the extra nutrition. It wasn't a perfect diet, but I made sure I got in as much of the right nutrition as I could. And sleep. It's not my strongest suit. I don't always get enough sleep, but I did make sure that when I slept well. And quite often my watch would tell me my sleep was actually quite a good recovery sleep, even though it wasn't as long as it should be. Quality sleep, I think, is more important than quantity of sleep. So eat well, train well, sleep well, do the recovery work, and things will generally go well. And if they don't, sometimes we get injured, sometimes we don't make the right plans. That's okay, we recalibrate and we do the things that need to be done. Final shout out, I want to throw out to my mate Sam for making this challenge a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more fun by doing your own version of it. So Sam went out and did 15 days of 15 Ks, pushing himself past any point he's been before, the biggest weeks he's ever done. So that was awesome. I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, and I don't know if I would have had as good a performance if I didn't have you by my side. So thanks, Sam. And I can't wait to get out there and hit the trails with you, my friend. But for now, that's Backpack Guy, finishing this challenge. Hoping you're challenging yourself and hoping that in some way this has motivated, inspired, or at least entertained you. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and recommending it to people you know who might be interested. Give me a like and go and check out some of the videos you might not have seen yet. And there's some pretty good ones coming because I've got a full season of ultras from last year that I'll be putting up my videos for over the coming months. Have a great day. Let's be better. And I'll see you on the next video.